The moment you ask, why not me? You flip the switch. You stop accepting the false narrative that greatness is reserved for a select few. The playing field may not be equal, but opportunity has never been confined to a zip code, a family, name, or a certain background. History is filled with examples of people who started with nothing and ended up changing the world. Not because they had the best resources, but because they believed it was possible. They believed in themselves, even when no one else did. And that belief, unshakable and disciplined, became the foundation of their rise. Self-belief doesn't mean arrogance. It doesn't mean pretending to have all the answers. It means trusting that even if you don't have the answers now, you're capable of finding them. It means you believe your effort will produce results, even if those results take time. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they quit too early or never start at all. They talk themselves out of action. They listen to the voice that says, "You're not ready. You're not smart enough. You don't have what it takes." But those voices are liars born from fear, and fear thrives where faith is absent. When you commit to believing in yourself, everything changes. You stop operating from a place of scarcity and start acting from a place of possibility. You stop measuring your potential by where you are and begin measuring it by where you're headed. That's the difference between staying stuck and stepping into momentum. The person who believes in themselves is already halfway there. Confidence becomes the currency for growth. One of the most powerful aspects of self-belief is its ripple effect. It doesn't just stay confined within you. It changes how others perceive you. When you carry conviction in your voice, in your actions, in your decisions, people feel it. They may not understand it, but they recognize the energy. That energy opens doors, it attracts opportunities, it compels respect. But it has to be real. It has to be earned. And it's earned through action, through risk, through the willingness to bet on yourself even when there's no safety net. Self-belief grows when you honor your commitments, especially the commitments you make to yourself. Every time you say you'll do something and follow through, you add weight to your confidence. Every workout you complete, every page you write, every cold call you make, every moment you push past resistance, you're proving to yourself that you are who you say you are. That's how belief becomes unbreakable. Not through grand gestures, but through daily discipline. Through doing what needs to be done, even when it's inconvenient. But belief also means confronting your limits. It means being honest about where you are and what needs to change. It's not blind optimism, it's strategic awareness. It says, I see the gap between where I am and where I want to be, but I trust myself to close it. That's what separates dreamers from doers. The dreamer talks about the vision. The doer believes they can build it and then begins the work. Many people wait until conditions are perfect to begin. They think they need more money, more time, more experience. But waiting for perfect conditions is just another form of procrastination. The truth is, you'll never feel 100% ready. You'll never have all the information. You'll never eliminate all risk. But if you believe in yourself, you won't need guarantees. You'll be willing to take the first step even when the road ahead is unclear. That kind of faith is rare, and it's powerful. This mindset is especially important in moments of failure. When things go wrong, and they will, self-belief is what keeps you in the game. It's what reminds you that failure isn't a dead end. It's feedback. It's a lesson. It's part of the process. People with belief don't let setbacks define them. They extract the wisdom, adjust the plan, and move forward. That resilience is built on the foundation of knowing that one loss doesn't make you a loser. One failure doesn't cancel your future. It's only final if you quit. And then there's the voice. That internal voice that narrates your life. Most people let that voice run on autopilot, and it's often toxic. It repeats every criticism, every insecurity, every limitation. But belief means you take control of that voice. You rewire it. You start speaking life into yourself. You remind yourself that you've been through hard things before, that you've overcome, that you have more strength in you than you realize. You become your own greatest encourager, not your worst enemy. It's not about pretending life is easy. It's about refusing to let difficulty define your destiny. Hard times will come. Critics will talk. You'll have moments of doubt. But belief means you don't let those things make decisions for you. You acknowledge them, but you don't surrender to them. You keep going anyway. You trust that your effort over time will produce fruit. This kind of belief isn't taught in school. It's built in the trenches. It's forged through challenge, through sacrifice, through repetition. But once you have it, really have it, it becomes your anchor. It allows you to walk into any room, take on any task, face any storm, and still know who you are. You're not waiting for the world to tell you you're worthy. You already know. So when that question echoes, why not you? Don't shrink from it. Stand up to it. Own it. Let it wake something up inside you. Let it remind you that you have a mind capable of vision, a heart built for courage, and hands designed to build. Let it be the spark that sets your potential on fire. Because the truth is, there's no one more qualified to live your dreams than you. You just have to believe it. And then prove it. Every single day. Believing in oneself is often the first and most essential step toward any meaningful transformation in life. It's not just about having confidence or self-esteem. It's about cultivating an unshakable inner conviction that you are capable, worthy, and prepared to pursue the life you want, regardless of your past or present circumstances. The speech challenges the listener with the direct, piercing question, why not you? This simple phrase holds extraordinary power. It forces self-reflection. It breaks through the noise of doubt and fear that we so often let run on autopilot in our minds. When you begin to entertain the possibility that you, yes, you are capable of achieving greatness, everything begins to shift. The excuses begin to weaken. The distractions begin to fade. You no longer see yourself as a bystander to success, but as a participant. For so many people, self-doubt has been conditioned into them from a young age. They've been told who they are, what they can and cannot do, how far they can go. They've been shaped by environments that didn't nurture vision or voice, and as a result, they grew up afraid to claim what was already within them. But the truth is, the barrier isn't external. It's internal. It's not the economy, it's not your upbringing. It's not your education, and it's certainly not your current circumstances. The greatest limitation is the belief that you're not good enough, not strong enough, not smart enough, not deserving. That internal narrative is what this speech confronts directly. The message is clear. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission to be great. Stop waiting for the right moment, for everything to be perfect, for someone to validate your worth. You already have everything you need to begin. The permission you seek is already yours. This mindset shift, this radical belief in yourself, requires courage. It means letting go of the comfort that comes with blaming others or blaming the system. It requires you to take full responsibility, to look yourself in the mirror and say, if it's going to happen, it's going to be because I made it happen. That kind of ownership is uncomfortable, but it's necessary. It's the difference between people who live in cycles of mediocrity and those who choose to rise above. You don't have to be born into the right family or go to the right school. You don't need to have all the answers or be the most talented. You just have to believe enough to start and commit enough to keep going. That internal fire, that self-belief, becomes the fuel that gets you through the hard days. And there will be hard days. Days when quitting feels easier. Days when everything in you wants to go back to what's familiar. But belief in yourself reminds you that the pain has a purpose and that you're not fighting for nothing. It's easy to look at other people and assume they have something you don't. You see their wins, their achievements, their polished presentations, and you tell yourself they must be smarter, luckier, or more connected. But what you don't see are the nights they cried themselves to sleep, the days they pushed through fear, the moments they wanted to give up but chose not to. The only difference between them and you is that they dared to believe they could. They silenced the voice that said I can't and replaced it with I must. And that decision, made day after day, built momentum. They didn't wait until they felt ready. They acted before they were. They took the leap not because it was safe, but because they knew they couldn't afford to keep playing small. When you believe in yourself, something incredible happens. You start setting higher standards. You stop tolerating the things that drain your energy and dilute your purpose. You stop engaging in behaviors that sabotage your growth. Belief forces you to align your actions with your values. You begin walking with a different posture, showing up in rooms with more presence, speaking with more clarity, acting with more conviction. You stop shrinking to make other people comfortable and instead start expanding to make yourself proud. And what's powerful is that others begin to notice. People respond to energy. When you walk in belief, people either rise to match you or fall away, and either way, you win. But this isn't just about mindset. It's about movement. Belief in yourself must manifest in what you do, not just what you feel. You can read every book, listen to every podcast, and attend every seminar, but until you move, nothing changes. That's why self-belief must be active. It's the decision to try again after failing. It's the discipline to keep practicing when no one's watching. It's the determination to keep knocking on doors even after you've been rejected. It's the ability to say, I belong here, when every insecurity tells you that you don't. And every time you act in belief, that belief grows. It becomes stronger, more deeply rooted. You start to prove to yourself that you're capable, not because someone told you, but because you showed yourself. Belief is also about perspective. You start seeing problems differently. You don't see obstacles as stop signs, but as opportunities to adapt, to innovate, to grow. You realize that rejection isn't personal, it's redirection. That failure isn't fatal, it's feedback. That struggle isn't punishment, it's preparation. Belief gives you the emotional resilience to push through storms with your head held high, and eventually, you come to understand that the very things that once made you doubt yourself, your background, your scars, your setbacks, are the very things that qualify you to lead, to inspire, and to win. The most dangerous voice isn't the one on social media, or in the news, or from a critic. It's the one inside your own head. The voice that says, not you, you're not ready, you're not enough. And that voice gets louder every time you choose comfort over calling. But the moment you decide to talk back, to answer that voice with a stronger truth, that's when you take back your power. That's when belief becomes your weapon. It doesn't mean you'll never feel fear or uncertainty, but it means those things won't control you anymore. You'll still hear the doubts, but you won't be defined by them. You'll feel the fear, but you'll act anyway. This shift from self-doubt to self-belief isn't a one-time choice, it's a daily one. Every morning you have to choose to believe. Every setback, every failure, every delay will test your belief. But if you can stand in the mirror and declare, why not me, with honesty and intention, you'll start to see that belief take form in your life. Opportunities will begin to find you. People will begin to trust you. And most importantly, you will begin to trust yourself. They said the odds were stacked against you. They pointed to your background, your failures, your lack of connections, your missteps, your upbringing, and used those things as evidence that you shouldn't succeed. And for a while, maybe you believed them. Maybe you bought into the idea that someone like you doesn't get ahead, doesn't win, doesn't rise. But here's the truth. You were never meant to fit into their expectations. You were born to break them. You are not the excuse. You are the exception. When people count you out, they're doing you a favor, because what they don't understand is that real greatness is forged in isolation. When no one believes in you, when no one claps, when no one shows up to support you, that's when you learn who you are. That's when the decision gets made. That's when you either cave in or rise up. Most people collapse under the weight of doubt, but not you. You use it. You build with it. You wear rejection like armor. The world has told you no enough times. Now it's your turn to say yes, to yourself, to the dream that still burns inside you, to the vision you've been holding back because you were waiting for approval, but approval was never coming. Not from the crowd, not from the people too afraid to chase their own purpose, not from the ones who gave up and now resent anyone who refuses to. You don't need them. You never did. You're not here to follow a script someone else wrote. You're here to write your own. And that story isn't going to be neat or easy or pain-free. It's going to be real. It's going to be raw, and it's going to be yours. People forget that diamonds are born under pressure, not comfort. Pressure isn't a sign of failure. It's the proving ground for the exceptional. The heat, the resistance, the struggle, it's what separates the average from the unstoppable. You've been given everything you need to start. It may not look like much right now, it may not look like what others have. But what they have doesn't matter. What matters is what you do with what you've got. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in history didn't come from the most talented or the most resourced. They came from the most relentless. The ones who refused to quit. The ones who got tired of asking, why me? And started asking, why not me? Every moment you spend doubting your worth is a moment you surrender your power. Every time you shrink to make others comfortable, you're walking away from the life that's calling you. And make no mistake, your purpose is calling you. Every dream, every whisper, every pull in your gut that says you were made for more, that's not a coincidence, that's a calling. And if you don't answer it, you're not just cheating yourself, you're cheating everyone who needs what only you can give. You were built for this. Maybe life didn't come with a blueprint or a roadmap, but you were born with instinct, with fire, with the ability to adapt and overcome. What you lack in experience, you can make up for in effort. What you lack in support, you can create through consistency. There is no timeline on greatness. There is no rule book for success that says you have to come from a certain zip code, speak a certain way, or fit into a certain mold. That's a lie people use to stay small. You weren't created to stay small. You've already survived so much, think about that. The obstacles that should have broken you, the betrayals that should have hardened you, the heartbreaks that should have kept you from loving again. But you're still here. You're still fighting. That resilience isn't by accident. It's evidence. Evidence that there's something in you stronger than what tried to destroy you. Something in you that refuses to be ordinary. Something in you that keeps whispering, there's more. And there is. There's more strength in you. More courage, more vision. But it doesn't show up until you do. Until you stop waiting for things to change and decide to be the one who changes them. Until you look in the mirror and stop seeing your limits and start seeing your launch pad. Until you stop saying, I wish I could, and start saying, I'm going to. Because wishing won't get you there. But action will. Repetition will. Grit will. The moment you stop giving power to the doubt and start feeding the belief, everything changes. You start moving differently. Speaking differently. Showing up differently. And people notice. Not because you became someone else, but because you finally stepped into who you really are. The version of you that doesn't beg for validation. That doesn't apologize for ambition. That doesn't hide from the work, but embraces it. People are going to talk regardless. Let them. You don't need to be understood right now. Most visionaries aren't. Most trailblazers are misunderstood, criticized, even mocked until they win. Then the same people who questioned you will quote you. But you don't do this for them. You do this because there's a fire inside you that won't let you sit still. A fire that won't be quiet until you build something with it. And yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. Yes, there will be days you question everything. But you don't back down just because it's hard. You lean in. You grind harder. You remember that comfort zones are crowded, but legacy is built in the lonely places. It's built in the early mornings, the late nights, the no's, the setbacks, the days when everything says quit, and you still choose to go one more round. It's not about being fearless. It's about acting in spite of fear. It's about deciding that your purpose is bigger than your excuses, that your vision is stronger than your insecurities, that your dreams are worth more than your distractions. It's about waking up and saying, why not me? With conviction, not confusion. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to be done waiting. Because greatness doesn't come looking for the perfect, it comes looking for the ready. Ready to bet on themselves. Ready to get back up again. Ready to walk through the fire and come out refined, not ruined. You've been playing small long. Enough. It's time to stop doubting and start deciding. No more asking if you're good enough. No more shrinking around people who aren't bold enough to chase their own dreams. Your time is now. Your question is answered. Why not you? There's no reason left.